Zeus swallowed his first wife whole. That's how the story starts. Metis, goddess of cunning, was pregnant, and a prophecy said her child would surpass its father. Zeus, being Zeus, decided the solution was to eat her. He swallowed her alive. She survived inside him actually, kept working, made armor for the child she was carrying. The hammering gave Zeus migraines so severe that Hephaestus had to split his skull open with an axe to relieve the pressure. And out came Athena, fully grown, already wearing the armor her mother had made, already screaming a war cry that made the sea rear back and the sun stop dead in the sky. That's according to the Homeric hymn to Athena. She didn't arrive as an infant, she arrived armed. There was no childhood, no slow becoming, she was already at war. Klimt painted her in 1898, full armor, golden snake-fringed aegis, helmet pushed back like she's just come from somewhere, and she looks like someone who has never not been ready. That's the image. She never had a moment of being unprepared. Arachne was a weaver from Lydia, a mortal, and she was good enough at it that people said the skill must have come from Athena herself. Arachne said no. She taught herself. She challenged Athena to a contest. This is Ovid's telling in the Metamorphoses, and it's the version that most people know, though Ovid is Roman and working 4 centuries after the myth's Greek origins, worth keeping in mind. The contest happens. Both of them weave. Athena weaves the gods in their glory, the 12 Olympians, their victories, mortals who dared challenge them and suffered for it. Arachne weaves the gods in their corruption. Zeus disguised as a swan assaulting Leda, Zeus as a bull taking Europa, Poseidon as a ram, Apollo as a shepherd, every assault, every deception, every time a god used disguise to take something from a mortal. Her weaving was, according to Ovid, perfect, not almost perfect, perfect. Athena examined it and couldn't find a single flaw. Velázquez painted this, the Fable of Arachne, around 1657, and he buried the contest in the background, almost out of focus, while ordinary women spin in the foreground. The divine confrontation is easy to miss. That may be the point. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Athena destroyed Arachne's tapestry anyway, tore it to pieces, then struck Arachne across the face. Arachne, humiliated, hanged herself. Athena felt something, guilt, possibly, or something adjacent to it, and brought her back. Transformed her into a spider so she could weave forever. That's the mercy version. What I want to sit with for a second is the sequence. Arachne's work was perfect. Athena confirmed this by examining it, then destroyed it. The offense wasn't incompetence. The offense was the content, an accurate record of divine misconduct. And now Medusa. Poseidon found Medusa in Athena's temple. What happened there is described differently depending on the source. Ovid says Poseidon assaulted her. Some earlier fragments say it was consensual, but still a violation of sacred space. What's consistent across accounts is that Athena's temple was defiled, and Athena's response was to transform Medusa, not Poseidon. Poseidon was Neptune to the Romans, second in power among the Olympians, older than Athena, brother of Zeus. There's a version of events where Athena couldn't touch him, and a version where she chose not to, and a version where transforming Medusa was a kind of protection, turning her into something untouchable, unreachable. The myth doesn't settle it. Ajax the Lesser, not Ajax the Great. There were 2 of them, which is one of those Greek things, raped Cassandra during the sack of Troy. Inside Athena's temple, at the foot of Athena's own cult statue, which Cassandra was clinging to for sanctuary. He dragged her away from it. This was, even by the standards of ancient Greek warfare, considered a serious transgression. His own allies were appalled. The Greeks voted to execute him for it. Ajax refused the sentence, took sanctuary at Athena's altar, the same goddess whose sanctuary he'd just violated, and was spared because killing him there would have compounded the sacrilege. He got away. He sailed home. Athena went to Zeus and Poseidon and asked permission to wreck the Greek fleet. Zeus said yes. She sent storms, 15 kings and their navies, dozens of ships destroyed, hundreds drowned. Ajax himself made it almost to shore, close enough that ancient sources say he shouted at the sea that he'd survived in spite of the gods. Poseidon, who'd just helped drown the fleet at Athena's request, split the rock he was standing on and threw him into the sea. Ajax drowned 50 feet from shore. The crime was one man's. The punishment landed on an entire naval force. Athena didn't proportionate the response, she maximized it. Odysseus is the exception that tells you everything. Athena helps him, throughout the Odyssey, consistently, even when he's failing badly. She argues for him to Zeus in the opening lines. She helps him in disguise on Ithaca. She's there at the slaughter of the suitors. Why? He's not especially pious. He's not faithful, Circe, Calypso, others. He's not brave in the conventional sense. He'd rather talk his way out of something than fight. What he is clever. He's the best liar in the Greek world, and he uses it efficiently. According to Homer, Athena says it explicitly, she helps him because they're alike. Both are known for tricks, for cunning, for misdirection. She's drawn to competence that matches her own. Now compare that to the others. Ajax violated a principle, sanctuary, and she destroyed his entire fleet. Arachne documented divine hypocrisy accurately and was destroyed and transformed. Medusa's story is more tangled, but the response was still transformation, still permanent, still without addressing the actual perpetrator. With Odysseus, none of that applies. He doesn't transgress her principles. He operates the way she operates. That's what gets you safety with Athena, not prayer, not sacrifice, not loyalty, alignment. You have to think the way she thinks. The judgment of Paris. Eris, goddess of discord, threw a golden apple into a wedding party. It was addressed to the fairest. Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena all reached for it. Zeus refused to judge. Paris of Troy was appointed instead. 3 goddesses, each offering a bribe. Hera offered political power, kingship over nations. Athena offered military prowess and tactical genius. Aphrodite offered the most beautiful woman in the world, who happened to be married to someone else. Paris chose Aphrodite. He chose beauty over power and strategy combined. Athena sided against Troy from that moment forward, not against Paris specifically, against the city. When Diomedes wounded Ares during the Iliad, a god wounded by a mortal, Athena had guided his hand. When the Trojans were winning and the Greeks were breaking, it was usually Athena intervening on the Greek side. Not because the Greeks were better, not because Troy was wicked, because Paris had rejected what she was offering and chosen something she held in contempt. What gets me about this one is that it wasn't an insult to her personally, it was a judgment that her values were worth less than Aphrodite's. She filed that away. The Trojan War ran 10 years, she didn't forget. Look at the pattern. Ares kills because he enjoys it. Homer calls him the bane of mortals, and even his father Zeus tells him he's the most hateful of the gods. Dionysus drives people mad because they refused his cult or his presence. Hera pursues Heracles out of jealousy. Artemis destroys Actaeon because he saw her bathing. The grievances are personal. Injured pride, refused worship, an accident witnessed. These are emotional responses to perceived slights. Athena doesn't work that way. Arachne wasn't punished for insulting Athena personally, she was punished for producing accurate documentation of something Athena found intolerable. Ajax wasn't punished for offending Athena personally, he violated the principle of sanctuary, the principle that a temple is inviolate. The Trojans weren't destroyed for insulting Athena personally. Paris made a judgment that her values were second-rate, and she concluded he was wrong, and she acted on that conclusion for a decade. She punishes deviations from her principles. She doesn't need to feel hurt. She doesn't need a target to be her enemy. She just needs to determine that something has gone wrong and that she has the means to correct it. That's kind of the scariest version of divine power there is, an intelligence that acts not from feeling, but from conviction. You can't apologize your way out of a conviction. You can't appeal to her mercy once she's decided you're a problem. You just have to hope she never notices you.